Ranking Member Whitehouse.
Thank you, Chairman. I guess the point I'd like to open with is that one state's onerous regulation is a neighboring state's clean air. And as a downwind state, we have to take it pretty seriously when EPA won't enforce federal law, won't protect our downwind states. My state Department of Environmental Management can't regulate a spewing power plant in Pennsylvania or West Virginia or Ohio. There is nothing we can do about that. And if EPA walks away from its responsibility, those states may think they've been relieved of an onerous regulation. But I live in a world in which I drive to work in Rhode Island, and on a bright, clear summer day, I have heard the radio warn that the air is unsafe to breathe in my state. That elderly people, that people with breathing difficulties, that infants should stay indoors on a nice summer day because nobody will tell the polluting power plants in other states to knock it off and clean up their act. So until Rhode Island is protected, and I think it ain't for nothing that so many of us who are here today are from downwind states. This isn't funny. This is making a big difference in our lives. Ms. Keogh talked about the windshield and the rear view. I'd add one other automotive feature. I'd add headlights. We got to have the headlights flicked on so we can see ahead to what is coming at us. And the headlights are science. That's what lets us know what's coming at us. So when we have an EPA that throws legitimate scientists off their advisory boards so they can bring industry flunkies on, so that they can ignore scientific reports that warn very clearly about what's going to happen. There's no longer any debate about this, and the coasts are going to take a real beating. We're looking at several feet of sea level rise in my small state. We don't have much to give away, folks. Several feet of sea level rise is not funny. And the fact that EPA won't take an interest in this issue is very frustrating. And so I appreciate how they're not being onerous with you guys, but I got a different fight. I got a fight to protect my own state here. And what I see is very selective cooperative federalism. It's cooperative federalism when the interest of the state happens to align with the fossil fuel industry. Then they're all cooperatives, all get out. But when, like California and Rhode Island as a CAFE standard state also, when the states have worked together in cooperative federalism and put together a rule that has stood the test of time for, what, decades now? This administration's approach to cooperative federalism is no, we're going to do what Marathon Oil tells us to do, and we're going to completely ignore the 14 states that have done this for a long time. This isn't right. This isn't right, and it's going to come home to roost because you can't stop science, you can't stop facts, you can't stop the operation of the earth by the biological, chemical, and geological rules that we know. So this is going to come, and what it's going to show is that the true north for this administration wasn't federalism. It was whatever the fossil fuel industry told it to do. And that, in my experience, has been the true north. But there are states, unlike your guys, who are downwind states. And for us, it really, really matters when there's a power plant that won't clean up its pollution and we can't do anything about it and EPA walks away. There are coastal states. It's not just me. Moody's has now said that it's going to rate municipal debt based on climate and sea level risk for coastal communities. Freddie Mac has said that there could well be a coastal property values crash as bad as the 2008 mortgage meltdown. I lived through that. I don't want to live through that again. Freddie Mac isn't the Sierra Club. Freddie Mac is all about homes and mortgages, and they're warning about it. First Street has just gone all the way up the coast, and in peer-reviewed research showed that coastal property values in areas subject to flooding are already starting to peel off. So if there is going to be a coastal property values crash, that's what the opening of it looks like. And that is what is happening. And I already mentioned the CAFE standards, some cooperative federalism when they won't work with 14 states on a program that's already been working very effectively to help bring down pollution from automobiles. So I appreciate this hearing, but I don't take EPA at all seriously. I think cooperative federalism is a mask, it's a sham, it's a way to deliver for the fossil fuel industry, and depending on what state you are, they will roll right over you in the name of cooperative federalism.
Thank you. Senator Kramer.